In the last class, we discussed about the applications of biotechnology within agriculture field, and the next one in the medicine field. So, some of the applications we discussed in the last class, and coming to the next one, role of biotechnology in disease diagnosis process. That is nothing but molecular diagnosis process. Molecular diagnosis is nothing but see whatever that gene level detection process is there, whatever the gene level disease detection process is there, this is definitely supporting for the identification or diagnosis of different types of diseases, right? See, this is a molecular diagnosis process. Especially we are studying about the pathophysiology. We are studying about the pathophysiology. Pathophysiology is nothing but study about different types of diseases. Within disease condition, what are the physiological changes that take place within the human body? What are the physiological changes that take place? All these physiological changes are studied by the usage of different types of diagnosis methods. Different types of diagnosis methods. See, we know within that case there is a conventional diagnosis methods are there. There is a conventional diagnosis methods are there. See, the conventional diagnosis methods are nothing but serum analysis process is there, and urine analysis process is there. There is nothing but serum test and the urine test. Serum test and the urine test. So with the serum, what are the components are present? We will study. Okay, we have the different types of instruments. Then finally we get the serum analysis report. Within the serum, what the components are present? Okay, we will analyze by the usage of some instruments. And the urine analysis also the same manner. There is different types of methods are there within the urine analysis also. Then we are analyzing the urine. We are analyzing the urine. Within the urine, how much levels of sugars are there, and minerals, what are the minerals are there, and what are the components are there, what about the bilirubin level within the urine. All these are diagnosed. So remember, this is a conventional diagnosis method. See, if we did this process, this conventional method not supporting for the early diagnosis process. I like to discuss about here two types of diagnosis are there. Early diagnosis is there and advanced stage diagnosis is there. Means, for suppose one of the person we know about the corona disease. One of the person affected with the coronavirus. If the disease is diagnosed at early stage, the disease will be cured. For suppose after 3 weeks or after 4 weeks, if the corona disease is diagnosed, okay, then mostly there is no chance to cure the disease. Mostly, okay. Still there is a chance is there, but in up to certain percent, okay, the disease at advanced stage. So early diagnosis is very, very useful. But early diagnosis is not done by the all conventional and normal diagnosis methods. Early diagnosis required there is a separate process. See, the early diagnosis is done by the PCR and RNA technology and the ELISA. See, the early diagnosis process majorly done by the separate instruments of the separate technology, which are especially using to detect the disease at the early stage. Then the disease, okay, easily cured. The disease will be easily cured. See, one of the best example we know about the cancer, right? This is one of the cancer cell, and this is the cancer cell nucleus and the DNA. And this is the normal cell. And the normal cell nucleus and normal cell genetic material. So if we study the genes of both the cells, so with the cancer cells, there is a mutated genes are there. Within the cancer cell, there is a mutated genes are there. This is the cancer cell, and this is the normal cell. So here, mutated genes are absent. Means all normal genes are present. So presence of mutated genes, we can conclude the person have the cancer. The person have the cancer. And remember here, whatever the cancer is there, if the cancer diagnosed at the early stage, if the cancer diagnosed at the early stage, the cancer will be cured. The cancer will be cured. If the cancer reaches the advanced stage, if the cancer reaches the advanced stage, okay, there is no chance to survive the person. There is no chance to survive the person because already cancer spread throughout the body, and if we provide different types of treatments also, mostly there is no chances to cure the cancer disease. See, what I am trying to tell here, whatever that early stage diagnosis is there and advanced stage diagnosis is there, early stage diagnosis is very helpful to protect the human beings, are very helpful to protect the persons, because if we detect the disease at the early stage, if we detect the disorder at the early stage, disease or disorder, right? See, if we detect the disease or disorders at the early stage, definitely the person, okay, chance to survive. There is a chance to survive because if we detect the disease or the disorder at the early stage, definitely the disorder or disease will be cured. Disorder or disease will be cured, right? So that is about the advantage of the early diagnosis process, right? Here I like to discuss about some of the comparisons here. We know the conventional diagnosis process, that is nothing but serum test and the serum analysis and the urine analysis. And PCR, we know polymerase chain reaction, right? And RNA technology, that is nothing but one of the autoradiography technique is the one of the best example for the RNA technology. That is nothing but see the PCR also related to the RNA technology, right? But this is the separate instrument. That's why I mentioned here PCR. This is one of the best this is one of the best device to detect different types of diseases. And RNA technology is there, recombinant technology. By the usage of RNA technology also, we can diagnose the different types of diseases. ELISA, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, right? So by using that ELISA also, we can detect the disease. Right? So that is about the oral types. Okay. So low percentage of the presence of low percentage of sample here. By the normal diagnosis process, the disease is not identified. Okay, see, within the conventional method and the normal diagnosis process, if the sample amount is low, the disease is not detected. And if we use the PCR, very minimum, if the sample is very minimum, we can detect the disease. RNA technology also same thing, and ELISA also same thing. See, presence of low amount of sample or low percentage of sample by the PCR, by the RNA technology, by the ELISA, we can detect the disease, but not by the normal diagnosis method like serum test and the urine test. And high percentage of sample. So within this case, see, these three can work with presence of low percentage of sample. Then this one is only work presence of high percentage of sample. So this can automatically work at a high percentage or low percentage. So here normal diagnosis only work out when the high concentration of sample is available or high percentage sample is available. These three can work either low or high percentage of the sample, right? And early diagnosis. Remember, by the normal diagnosis process, that early disease detection process or disease identifying process is not possible. But by the PCR, by the RNA technology, by the ELISA, we can identify the disease at the early stage. See, these three are very best tests. These three are very best methods. These three are very best methods to diagnose the disease. Here accuracy also perfectly maintained. See, compared with the normal diagnosis process, here accuracy also perfectly maintained by the PCR, RNA technology and the ELISA test. and there is a test. Right? One by one we will discuss about the PCR, RNA technology, and these examples. Coming to the first one, PCR. For suppose from one of the person, the DNA is collected. We are studying. For suppose that maybe the person having the genetical disorders, right? Maybe cancer, maybe the different types of diseases which are related to the hereditary diseases we know, color blindness, right, and bald head. Okay, and this kind of genetical disorders are identified by the usage of the PCR. Not only this one, whatever that microbial infections are there, and whatever that viral infections are there, viral infections are also identified by the PCR. But remember, normally DNA contained viruses done by the DNA contained viruses, diagnosis process done by the normal PCR. But we know coronavirus having the RNA genetic material. In that case, okay, we are using the RT-PCR. Because RT, that is nothing but reverse transcriptase enzyme. The viruses which are having RNA is the genetic material. So whatever the viruses which are having RNA genetic material, in that case we are using to diagnose the RNA containing viruses. Okay, we are using the RT-PCR. Right? So that is about the PCR, genetical disorders and the cancer, and the RT-PCR. Okay, we are detecting that RNA containing viruses. Right? That is about the PCR. Remember, if we provide the very minimum amount of, even though the diseases are identified by the diseases or the disorders are identified by the PCR. Right? That is about the PCR. And coming to the next one is the RNA technology. RNA technology, in that case, the best example is the autoradiography technique. See, we are using here within autoradiography technique, we are using single stranded DNA or single stranded RNA, which are labeled with radio-labeled substances. See, we are doing here RNA technology. We are diagnosing by the usage of single-stranded DNA or single-stranded RNA. Right? So this is one of the autoradiography film, and this is the normal person genes. So the normal person genes, which forms the bands like this, right? See, the bands are visualized because we are using here radio-labeled substances. These are nothing but probes. These are called probes. We are already discussed within the first biodiagonal chapter. These are nothing but probes. The probes can bind the complementary sequences. Then these bands are visible. Presence of UV rays. Total this will come under the UV rays. Then the bands are visible. This is about the normal person. For suppose this is one of the cancer patient genes. Here bands are formed, and some of the bands are missed. some of the bands are missing. So why here some of the bands are missing? See, within the cancer cell, there is a mutated genes are present. Mutated genes are present. See, whatever the mutated genes are there, see, with the mutated genes, these probes are unable to bind. These probes are unable to bind with the mutated genes because between these two, there is no complementary. There is no complementary. See, between these, okay, complementary is there and binding forms the all the bands. When the mutated genes are there, complementary is missed. Complementary is missed. The binding is missed. Binding is missed here. Bands are missed. Bands are missed. Then if any band is missed here, based on this one, we can say the person have the particular disease. The person have the particular disease. Right? That is about the RNA technology. In that case, RT-radiography technique. And last one is the ELISA. Coming to the next one, ELISA. In this case, there is an enzyme linked immunosorbent acid. Immunosorbent acid. See, we are using immunoglobulins. These are nothing but antibodies which are linked with the enzymes. Very simple. Enzyme linked with immunoglobulins. This is one of the antibody. This is one of the antibody linked with the enzyme. So to detect the disease, we are using antibodies which are linked with the enzymes. See. Here two types of ELISAs are there. The very first is the direct ELISA. The very first one is the direct ELISA. Sir, what is direct ELISA? Very simple. First of all, this is one of the blood vessel of HIV patient. Here there is a blood is there. There is an HIV virus present within the blood. HIV virus are present. We are collecting the blood. After the collection process, right? We are isolating the proteins. And these proteins are added to the microtiter wells. These are the separate kit methods. These are called microtiter wells. Right? We added that particular proteins. We added all the proteins what we isolated. Suppose these are the proteins present with the. We are added to the microtiter well. After that, we already produced antibodies which are specifically bind to HIV proteins. See, by the RNA technology. See, we know there is a hybridoma technology is there. By the usage of hybridoma technology, we are producing antibodies, specific antibodies. So, by the hybridoma technology, we produced some of the specific antibodies. See, these antibodies are targetedly bind to HIV proteins. These are specifically bind to HIV proteins. For suppose this is one of the antibody interact with the HIV protein. Okay, this is the antibody interact with the HIV protein. So these are interact with the HIV proteins, right? And I already said these are tagged with the enzymes. After that binding process, okay, we'll do the washing. Means is mean unbinded antibodies are there. The unbinded antibodies are washed out. after that washing process, we are adding the chromosome substance. Chromosome substance. So we are adding the chromosome substance. That chromosome substance turns into color. Initially no color. Presence of enzyme and presence of this substance. And presence of enzyme. Okay, color is produced. If the color is produced, okay, the test is positive for HIV. If the color is not produced, the test is negative for HIV. Very simple. Within the direct ELISA process, we are isolated the HIV proteins. We are already prepared within the laboratory by the usage of hybridoma technology. Specific antibodies. These are only interacting with the HIV proteins. Right? And come to the second type is indirect ELISA. Indirect ELISA. So what is indirect ELISA? Remember, in this case, see, we know the HIV person body, right here there is an HIV virus is there, and once the HIV virus is there, antibodies also produced. And these are HIV antibodies. This time we are not isolating the HIV proteins. We are isolating the HIV antibodies. See, in a person, HIV antibodies are there, the person HIV positive, HIV proteins are there, the person HIV positive. In both the cases, HIV positive, right? See, in the indirect case, this is one of the microtubule, right? So here already HIV proteins are present, specific HIV proteins are there. That HIV proteins are also synthesized within the laboratory condition. These proteins are also synthesized within the laboratory condition, right? From the HIV person serum, these antibodies are added to the microtubule. Right? After the aging process, binding is takes place. So here, enzyme is absent. How can we identify, or how can we diagnose? We are adding. Okay, this one is the antibody. This one is okay. These are antigens. Right? See here we are adding. Some of the antibodies. Antibodies means which are binds to antibodies. See, if we inject the HIV antibodies within the heart, against these antibodies, antibodies are produced. See, we have collected some of the HIV antibodies. If the HIV antibodies are injected to the heart, within the heart, against these antibodies, antibodies are produced. So these are called as anti-antibodies. So here we are adding the anti-antibodies which are tagged with the enzymes. Then if we add the chromosome substance, right? Color production takes place. So this is the indirect ELISA, because here we are directly the antibodies. These are antibodies. Directly the antibodies are binds to HIV proteins. But in the second case, we are identifying the antibodies indirectly, because we are using antibodies. So this is the indirect ELISA method, and this is the direct ELISA method. We know the HIV diagnosis process majorly done by the ELISA test, enzyme linked immunosorbent assay, right? That is about the molecular diagnosis, right? And there is a small concept is there in this chapter, right? We will discuss now. Coming to the last concept in this chapter, some of the ethical issues were there. See, ethical issues which are related to regulation of genetically modified organisms production, either in the case of the plants, either in the case of the animals. There is a regulation committee is there. The committee regulation is very, very important. See, what do that committee, whatever that the organisms and whatever the products are produced by the genetically modified crops or genetically modified organisms, right? See, both these are completely studied by this committee. So that products are not harmful to the human beings, then the products are released into the market. The products are released into the market. See, the committee is here, GEAC, Genetically Engineered Approval Committee. This is a committee, it's very, very important. It's regulate the production of all transgenic products. All transgenic products. And every transgenic product must be passed the approval of this committee. Approval of this committee. Once any product got the approval from this committee, then that products are available in the market. Okay. See, the first of all, manipulation of living organisms. In this case, we are manipulating the new organisms. Maybe, for suppose we know in this chapter there is a transgenic animals are there. The transgenic animals explained by the zoology sir, because that is the one of the separate chapter in the zoology. That concept is explained by the zoology sir. So here I like to give that the fairy explanation. For suppose one of the scientists doing on research on animals, and he want to produce a transgenic animal, and he fused the different types of genes. He fused the different types of genes. See, if we observe, there is a different from different sources, different genes are collected and fused, and he tried to produce the one new organism. Maybe that is the strong. Maybe that one is the very strong species than the human beings. Maybe it's invade on the human beings. Maybe it kills all the human beings. We don't know. There is a chance to create. We have seen so many number of Hollywood scientific movies. So within that movies, they are doing the research and they are creating the new organisms. See, we know about Hulk and some of the movies are there. Some of the Hollywood movies are there. See, what is that main concept is creating the new organisms. Creating the new organisms by the fusion of different species genes. Different species genes. See, if the regulation is not there in that case, definitely one new species will come and all human beings are killed. So that's the reason why regulation process is very important. And some ethical standards are required. To evaluate the mortality of human activities. See, just now I said, definitely we have to follow some ethical standards. If we maintain the standards, then the human beings are surviving. If we not maintain any standards, if the scientists are not following any standards, definitely there is a new species will be evolved. Then all human beings and all organisms may be killed by the new species. Right? So that's the reason why we have to follow some of the ethical standards. Right? And I already said about that GAC. This is one of the regulating committee. Right? This is a very important one. Right? And sometimes in NEET examination also given bit for this one. Which one is regulating the products produced by the R&D technology or produced by the genetically modified plants and modified crops, or the production of genetically modified plants and the production of genetically modified animals regulated by which one? GEAC. Right? And coming to the next one, within the rice, we know there is a 2 lakhs. Totally 2 lakhs varieties are there. See, the 2 lakh varieties are present within the rice. Within that rice varieties, there is a 27 documented varieties are there. 27 documented varieties are there within the basmati. We know the basmati, we are eating the biryani, right? Either veg or non-veg biryani. We know about the different brands. Dawat is one of the brand and different brands are there. That is nothing but basmati rice. We are making biryani, right? This is nothing but biryani rice. See what I'm trying to tell here. Totally within Basmati, 27 documented varieties are there, and these are unique and aroma. These are unique and aroma. Remember, rice is the main cultivation in India. Rice is majorly cultivated in India. But whatever the documented varieties are there, in Basmati, all these document patent rights. Patent rights means we discussed one of the committees there. Within that committee, some of the patents are generated. Any scientist did the research, and any new varieties are produced. Okay, then the particular scientist on his name, he produced one patent. Then he have the complete rights. For suppose in 1997, American company made the patent on Basmati rice. Made the patents on Basmati rice. Actually, we are cultivating and we produce varieties, but our people that time don't have that proper vision and the proper plan. Okay, in that case, they are not produced any patents. But America produces the patents. But America not cultivating the rice. Within America mostly cultivates the wheat. So what I am trying to tell, see, this is not the proper action. This is not the proper plan. But this is not the proper method, because we are cultivating, we are created, but the patent rights are done by the another country. That's the reason why. Sir, what is the importance of the patent? See, any country have the patent on different products. Within the whatever the products are produced, the products are sold, there is a profit will be there. Definitely, okay. For suppose India produces the Basmati rice, and India sell the Basmati rice, and India get the profit. Within the profit, we have to give the share. We have to give the share to American company. So to avoid that problem, okay, our scientists did the research. One of the Basmati variety crossed with the draftline. So what I am trying to tell here, okay, to avoid this patent right, our scientists did the research between the Basmati and the draftline. Okay, new varieties created. Upon the new variety, we have the patent. When we have the patent, we need not to give the any share. So these are the different problems created by the patent rights. Not only these, but also the turmeric also cultivated within the India only, and neem plants also. Ajadiretta indica. See, neem plants also cultivated within India only, but the patent rights are related to the American companies. See, this is ridiculous. So that's what I will like to explain here. Whatever the patents are there, the patents are somewhat okay, not in proper way, or not in proper method, because we are having the plants, we are cultivating here, we are having the sources, but the patent rights are done by the different countries like USA. So here to avoid, okay, we need to regulate this kind of actions also. Different governments and different countries also regulate this kind of actions also, because where the source is there, the patents are related to that particular country only. If we created that kind of patents, then definitely this is in good way. And coming to the next one, biopiracy. See, biopiracy is nothing but, in simple terms, MNC companies, multinational companies, means we know different companies, okay, which are launched from foreign countries. See, for suppose one of the USA produce, okay, one pharmaceutical company launched in India. Then, sir, what is the advantage? Sir, Indian people are getting advantage. No. What we are having the bioresources. All these bioresources are utilized by the foreign companies. All these bioresources are utilized by the foreign companies. Whatever the water we have, whatever the raw materials we have, whatever that major chemical components we have, all these are utilized by the foreign companies. And the manpower also utilized. Within India, more population is there, with a cheap cost, manpower also utilized. Then share with whatever the products, okay, got by this company. Within that, very poor, very minimum share is given to the India. Very minimum share is given to the India. So my major concept is multinational companies are simply whatever we have the resources. All these resources are stolen by, okay, and legally stolen by the MNC companies. Legally stolen by the MNC companies. Raw materials are utilized and other sources are utilized and different products are utilized. Finally, okay, they are giving very minimum profit, right? So in recently Indian Parliament also there is a second amendment is produced to restrict all these kind of actions, like patents and bioresources utilization by the other companies or foreign companies, right? So this is about that ethical issues which are related to the R&D technology. Right? Next class we will discuss about the new chapter.